How it feel to be a dad, how it feel to be a man. You provide by any means, and we sticking to the plan. Yeah, I do this for my seed. Come and listen, come and see. Remember, it was just me. Now it's all about me. Lead by example. This for my child. I swear that I got you for life. Went from the court to talking about buckets. Now we talking pampers and wipes. I really love this though. Look at you and get inspired. You the fuel to my fire. Come here, let me change your diaper. Diaper dash.
Diaper Dad fan, what the fuck is good? Episode Trace, season dose. What's going on, GQ?
Shit, you tell me, man. You know that's my favorite line. You tell me, man. We in the building. We back at it again. Shit's going good. Just got back from a vacation. Been on the road quite a lot this past month or so, past month and a half, but it's time to cool down a little bit. Get in the fall season and slow down, be with the family a little bit. But that's really it, man. Same old, just been on the go.
Yeah, for sure. When this drops, your boy got some I ain't gonna give away too much, but when this drops, it's gonna be a lot of changes around here. We'll just leave it at that. But I'm very excited. When this episode comes out, everybody will see. But you know, it's life. But everything's been good, bro. Like I said, I've been so ever since I came back home, I've been so happy, so calm, relaxed around here.
Oh, man, you need that space. You just need that space.
Not even that I needed a space. That's one thing, but also that like I learned so much about myself, like while I was away, about how to when I came back home to like deal with like chaos and all that shit and how much I missed it. You know what I'm saying? I take the more sort of relaxed approach to a lot of shit. So it definitely taught me a lot about myself. I think going away, not to say I'm gonna go away all the time, but when I do go away, I think it's gonna just be better and better. I'm just gonna come back a new man every time. So I see where my growth is headed as a father. So it's all gonna be solid.
Let me ask you that. Where is that growth? Like what glimpse do you see? Like what's something that you see that you like, yo, like I'm gonna get better at this one. Like I'm gonna improve on that.
How to deal with my emotions, because you know sometimes when you have a fussy child or your house is just upside down, it's very easy for you to just hop in and just be a part of that mess. What I've had to learn is that you're the adult. You learn how to you control this shit. You know what I mean? Like they're kids and they're not supposed to learn this way. And that's where I had to like think about it and like that was the portion I was missing. So when the kids freak out, it doesn't mean necessarily need for me to get stressed out. I need to be above that and be able to control the situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I see my growth as of right now. I'm sure there's gonna be more down the line, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Hey man, I'm glad you recognize that for real, because like we say, so many people get caught up in the moment. You know what I mean?
And it's so easy to get caught up in the moment. You just forget you the damn parent. You be thinking you a kid with them. And that's the last thing you want to happen, because then now they see you in an emotional state that's unstable. So when they're unstable, they probably feel like, oh, who the hell? I can't turn to his ass. He's just gonna be freaking out just like me. You feel me? So I've always been calm. I always had like a calm approach to it. It takes a lot for me to get out of my character. When I say out of my character, just like just stressing out with them. But hey, you know what I mean? This is an iron sharpens iron game. So just keep grinding it out.
Facto.
You know.
What we popping off with today, man?
So, you know, I'm always on Instagram. You know, first of all, I'm always checking out Diaper Dad's page. Of course, I always got to make sure we up on there. But I ran into this video of it was an interview from Denzel Washington. He was doing a media. It was kind of like a red carpet event for one of his movies. I can't remember what the movie is, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
He was talking about essentially like breaking cycles, right? He was saying that like fathers experience pain and they unintentionally pass that pain down to their children, right? So it's more so just like, how do we break that cycle? We all have experiences from our parents, you know what I mean, whether good or bad. Sometimes we intentionally take them out on our children. And he was just saying that like we as a gender, as males, we need to be fathers. You know, his exact quote was, "We don't need to be popping out babies. We need to be fathers. Just popping out babies. We need to be fathers." And that kind of really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things that from my past, from my dad, that I don't ever think I'd put my kids in that type of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's easy to slip into that pattern of, you know what I mean, like keeping those bad habits going along. But it's hard. It's very hard to sit back and recognize like, nah, that's not how this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? My dad did this to me. I didn't like it. So wow, I'm not going to do that to you. You know what I mean? And just being self-conscious and self-aware of your actions around your children.
Yeah.
You know?
No, definitely. I think sometimes people can get caught up into that same lifestyle. But I think at the end of the day, it also matters how much maturity you got too, man. You know what I mean? And how badly you were scarred, or how badly it affected you. Because some people were like in the same position, but it probably didn't affect them that much, probably because, you know, whatever the other parent did kind of like overshine, you know, whatever was going on in that situation, to the point where you could ask some people, like, yo, did you know you really didn't have a dad in your life or a mom in your life? And some people might say, like, nah, like my mom just like, well, my dad was always there for me. Like, it never really, you know, sank with me until one day I got older, this, that, and the third. So I think it has a lot to do with your upbringing, because some people were just like, they just brought right. They got a strong one parent that really can bring them up just right. And that can really just like, you know, make them not even think about, you know, what happened with the other spouse for real, you know? So, yep, I think it does have a lot to do with your upbringing. But, you know, Denzel is right, man. We got to be being fathers and not just being dad. Well, dad and fathers.
Yeah, we can't just be out here popping babies. We gotta be fathers.
Can't be out here being baby daddies.
And you know what's crazy though? We see that situation all the time. Well, I guess we see that situation a lot. I wish we didn't see it as much, but like some dudes, they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready for it. Shorty's pregnant for real. And they're like, nah, I can't do this now. Like, you know what I mean? I never thought the day would come. But it's really challenging, and I challenge all fathers out there. I even challenge your ass. You know what I mean? Like we stand up guys. We there 24/7, but we always want to challenge each other in different aspects where we see each other lacking in. You know what I mean? We talk at every episode. Me and you talk about 2 hours just rapping. You know what I mean? About life and shit, and challenging each other. And I think that's the beauty of being around other fathers when it happens, because it doesn't happen all the time. We talk about it all the time, right? We don't show emotion. We think it's soft to talk about, but you know what I mean? If you could everyone should always have at least that one father on some like buddy system shit that they could really, really talk to, bro. Like it really would, it makes it a lot easier, and it makes it easy for you not to make those same mistakes that you were brought up in. You know what I mean?
Nah, definitely. I think you definitely need someone to talk to or vent to. Did you ever have like a father figure growing up? Like someone that was like a father figure, you know? Like a coach, a dad?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always had, I had my own dad, of course. Yeah, my parents weren't together. So mom kind of played mom and dad in the same house. So at the same time, rather. Yeah, but I've had a father figure before, and it was one of my basketball coaches growing up, and you know what I mean.
What's some things that like you learned from him? You know what I mean? Because like Denzel said, like, you know, once you become that father figure, you start to like basically like, you know, like groom young men sometimes. So what's like some things that you learn from that person or some things that you just, he was telling you, and you kind of just like, you took it and you start to realize like, yo, this motherfucker telling the truth.
Just, well, part of that I mean, I've had the structure, you know what I'm saying, the caringness, the availability, you know what I'm saying, whether it was basketball or outside of basketball, you know what I'm saying. So like one of my coaches watched me grow up since I was fucking 14, in fact. You know what I mean? So he watched me grow through the process, and he was always there. I think those are the three main things, you know what I mean, that you can really at any point in life as a father. And I think that's what, and it's funny because I think sports kind of like give you that. It does, if you do play sports. I think that is definitely a tremendous tool to.
It gives you structure.
It also teaches you how to deal with high pressure situations, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like practice can get real intense real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's either put up or shut up. You know what I mean? And I think that's something you could carry over to fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? Being available. You're a basketball coach. I was a basketball coach. Ain't nothing like just being there for your kids outside of basketball. You know what I'm saying? Getting into their world.
Yeah, man.
That's like the fatherhood. You know what I mean? So I think sports kind of like groomed me to, along with my at-home life, it grew me into the man I am today. And it taught me how to be unselfish when it comes to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like giving my last for my teammate. You know what I'm saying? Giving my last for my child. Giving my last for my partner. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of correlation between sports and then fatherhood to me.
Oh, definitely, man. Like being a coach is like being a father. To be honest,
you worry about grades. You gotta keep the ass out of trouble. Like it's literally the same shit, just in a different form.
Yeah, man. You just like, for example, you're not really bringing them up from so long, but you actually, you got to deal with so many different personalities. Sometimes people are dealing with stuff outside of basketball. Mentally, classroom. It's a lot. It is, man. It's a lot. But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, they young men just growing up. They don't even know really what the world is about. All they know is fast food, girls, and video games.
They don't even know girls. They just know video games, just fast food, bro.
Nah. These motherfuckers nowadays, they be knowing about girls, man. They be knowing about girls, but yeah, man, like being a coach, man, it really helps you get that father figure. I had a coach, man. He was a really good father figure to me, till this day. Yeah. Without him, man, I don't know where I would be, as a man, as a husband, as a father. Like really, really groomed me well, along with my dad.
Where do you see the correlation between, besides like what I said, could you name any other like situations that you could kind of carry over from like as a coach to, you know what I'm saying, raising like no rules? Like what is your biggest like?
I think my biggest thing is like, yo, just actually being there for them, right? I don't know if people remember. I think I talked about this young kid. I had coach, and I had rode the bus with his dad, on the way to work too. Like his dad took the same bus as me in the DC. And when you come into a certain place in basketball, it's like, not everybody's going to college to play basketball.
Right.
And not everyone's going to the NBA. Some niggas is not playing. You know what I mean? And sometimes like mentally, like it really kills people. It kills kids. So the biggest part is like, yo, it's me, like I'm a player's coach, right? So I'm there to just like really just be in the air and be in my coach's ear to give individuals a chance to just play, right? So like I don't even really look at myself as like X's and O's, even though I do know the X's and O's because we go through it during practice and shit. But like my whole thing is like, yo, to be there for the kids. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I think everyone knows that. Because even a parent said it. They was like, yo, Shane, you coaching this year? I'm like, yeah, you know, I got the baby. They're like, yo, the kids need you, man. You know what I mean? And that's what I be really there for. Like, just really, I'll come to practice. I'll be sitting on the sideline, coaches coaching. I'm like, yo, shit, yo, what day was it? A day or B day? You know what I mean? Some niggas be shot, and then some niggas just get to talking like, yo, that's how Coach Brown is. I'm like, yo, it was an A day or B day today. They're like, yo, today was a B day. I'm like, shit, man, what's your favorite subject? Get to talking this, that, and the third. Because at the end of the day, man, they just kids. You know what I mean? And yo, like you really gotta somewhat kind of relate to them. You can't just always be about basketball. Like you really just gotta understand where they're coming from, understanding like why they playing basketball. Because some kids don't even love basketball. They just playing it just to play it because maybe their dad played it, or maybe because they just tall. So like, yo, just being there for them. But going back to this one kid, like he just wasn't playing anymore, and he was turning the ball over. He was just doing a bunch of stuff that just, you know, just wasn't helping him playing. I just, he would stay at the practice sometimes. I just talked to him, man. Just like, you know, just like as a man to a young man, just letting him know, like, yo, you know, like, yo, what you going through right now is like, it's destiny. And, you know, this is the same things that was preached to me by my mentor and my coach, Mr. Ronnie Cook. Shout out to him. But, you know, you go through times in life where, you know, God will test you. You know what I mean? And sometimes He's going to test you early in life. He's going to test you late in life. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, right now he was being tested. You know what I mean? His character was being tested. His work ethic was being tested. Just him as a person was being tested because he was in a situation where he was playing and then he wasn't playing. Now, what do you do in life? Right?
Yeah.
And I was telling them like, yo, this is just like a job. You know what I mean? Like you get to a job, you get the job because, you know, everyone like you, fresh, you something fresh in the business, fresh in the environment. Yo, but then again, it's like, yo, it's always new motherfuckers coming along. You know what I mean? It's always a new motherfucker that's going to be fresh to the job that they might gravitate to. Or there might be a motherfucker that's been there longer that they might gravitate towards more. But what are you going to do as a person, right? Are you going to lay down and just be like, yo, this person is better than me, or I'm not going to work? Or are you going to be complacent in life and just be like, well, you know, it is what it is. Right now, you being a young man, this is what's going to build you to be who you are, right? And, you know, I had that talk with him, man, and he, you know, like, it was really it was a great talk, and it really touched me, man, because I'm like, damn, man, it's like really the first kid like I actually touched. And his pops, we got on the bus, and that because me and his pops always be joking around, man. He looked at me, he was like, yo, thanks for talking to Phil last night, man. And I was like, yeah, man, no problem. He's like, nah, man, like seriously, you know, till this day, man, he still be talking to me. He ended up going to college, man, went to I think he said Florida Coastal or something like that, but just enjoying life, you know what I mean? And
yeah, no, bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, you didn't cut me off. I was just saying, like, now, like, you know, he just like really just enjoying life, because that's what I was telling him, like, yo, bro, like, not trying to take anything away from you, but like, yo, just enjoy the moment. You know, play basketball, do what you got to do. Don't get down on yourself, but come out here and compete every day. That's going to build your character. But like, yo, basketball is going to stop one day, right? And be prepared for when it stops. And, you know, you got great parents, great this, that, and the third. Yo, go off to college, you'll enjoy yourself, man. And you doing good. I think, yo, he might be turning, yo, to be honest, this motherfucker might be, yo, he might be a senior coming up this year, I think. A senior or a junior, yo. Like, it's really been 3 years for real. But yeah, that's like one of the biggest things I can say as a parent and a coach, is like just being there for the kids. Because every coach ain't really there. They, all right, X and O, all right, shoot drill, all right, bye, see y'all motherfuckers tomorrow. That's it. That's it. You know, so I just try to be there for them, man.
So, all right, let's take this in a different direction. So, you were talking. So, from what I took from the conversation that you and little homie had,
Yeah.
you got to a point where you were being realistic with him. I believe you said you was being realistic with him. So,
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
How do you be realistic with a child without shooting their dreams down? Because it's very easy. You know, some parents are like, bro, you stick to the books. Not everybody makes it to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you? Because I seen another video I was watching, one of my shout out to 85 South Show. They had Iman Shumpert on there, and he was talking like, yo, I'd never tell my kids they can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm gonna be real invested in what they're doing. Okay, cool. You want to be an actor? Cool. We're gonna make it happen. You want to be an actress? Cool. We're gonna rehearse your lines. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be in the NBA, cool. We're gonna get all these shots up. We're gonna run out. We're gonna get through. We're gonna make this happen. You're gonna be a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you kind of like divvy yourself with like trying to like enhance their dreams, but also stay realistic without killing their dreams?
So the biggest thing is, you know, hats off to Iman Shumpert, but like, yo, my whole thing is being a parent and being a friend, being a mentor is being realistic, right?
Yeah.
So I never tell him, and I'm probably never going to tell my daughter, like, you never can do it. I never told him he never could, you know, do it. I just asked him, like, what do you really want to do in life? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do? If it's basketball, yo, you got to work harder. But if it's not basketball, that's okay, because yo, you're gonna have a great life regardless. You know what I mean? So I never really shut down his dreams. I just gave him motivation to be like, yo, just because things ain't going good for basketball don't mean it's the end of, you know, life for you. It's so
And that's
much.
what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. So like, so what would be your biggest key of advice to fathers out there? You know what I'm saying? Like we always had like like I'm completely on board with you, and I'm with Iman Shumpert to a certain extent too, as far as like, you know what I'm saying, really like being invested in my son or my daughter's dream. But some parents, on the other hand, they just like, listen, stick to the books. Like it ain't sometimes, you know what I mean? Not everyone is going to be blessed to make it to the NBA. And as a kid, you know, you feel some type of way. You know what I mean?
You do. Yeah, you do. I don't, that's tough to say, because it's like, the books, like, you keep getting the books, nigga, you going somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of parents that said that niggas is doctors, lawyers, and everything else. So it's like, all right, yeah, that might not have been something they really wanted in life, but like, shit, mom and dad wasn't right. Like, you still got a good life. You know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, first, you got to understand what type of dream they got. You know what I mean? Understand what their passion is. Because some people will say they like doing this or they do this, but they're not passionate about it, right? You gotta show me some type of passion. You know what I mean? Like, niggas is like, like, I really wanna play soccer. It's like, all right, are you passionate about it? Because if you're not passionate about it, like, I'm not gonna give my all to you. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like, whatever we can find what you're passionate about. But I think that's just me, because I know, like, growing up, like, I'm so glad that I was able to put my passion in the places that I did, and it paid off. So like, I'm very fortunate that I never put my passion into things, and then it was like, or I just did something to do it and I wasn't passionate about it, and it just never worked. I'm glad I never was in that position. Like, I did things that I was actually passionate about, and that was it. And I succeeded at it. And that was the greatest thing ever. So like, all you could do for, kids is, just like be there for them, support them. But at the end of the day, just, tell them early on. Like, I think it's always about like how the upbringing is, but just tell people like, if you're gonna do this, you got to go all out. You got to be passionate about it. If this is something that you don't really, really like, first of all, it's okay if you don't like it, but let's try to find something else that that you do like, because you gotta let them know early, like, it's gonna be tough, baby. It's gonna be tough, like, and don't get me wrong, you might be one of a few. You might be one of a few, my G or my daughter. Like, You might be that gifted to where it's destiny. It's destiny for you to be a tennis player. It's destiny for you to be this, because there are people in life that are like that. There's people out there that are destined to play basketball. There's people destined to play tennis, golf, soccer. That's their destiny. Niggas, that nigga molded
everything. Yes.
He molded you, right? He molded you. It was like, yo, you playing soccer. And now that's what they call like LeBron James, Messi, Leonardo, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods. Like the list can go on and on. Those guys are destined to do it. But then there's so many people that they go off of those people and the excitement and entertainment those people have, that they believe that that was really their passion. And it's not. And it's crazy that we're talking about this, because all those people growing up, they'll tell you that their upbringing got them that passion. You know what I mean? Like they ain't just, they ain't just start like motherfucking kicking the ball at 9 years old. Like their upbringing, like all their stories, bro. Like this Serena Williams, the Serena Venus Williams movie with Will Smith, bro, that shit's about to be lit. Like it's really about to take fatherhood to another level. We're gonna have to post that shit.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole review of that movie. I can't wait.
Like really, bro. Like on some real shit. Like I remember the one clip they was telling them like, yo, like, the girls are like honor roll students, man. Like they can play tennis. Like these girls are good. Like these girls are the best in the world. Like that shit comes from your upbringing. You know what I mean? So that's why I was saying earlier, it's like, you got to understand your kids and understand what their passion is. And all these people, Tiger Woods, like you look at this shit, these motherfuckers don't have pictures just in 9 years old, like in high school. They got pictures when them motherfuckers is 4 years old. Niggas got the whole golf suit on. Niggas is playing tennis. Niggas got the basketball, soccer, all of that, bro. Like it's ingrained in you young. And I feel like, that's not only with sports, but just anything, your characteristics, your leadership, everything that you if you want your kids to be a certain way, you got to instill it into them like young, you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Like, don't shoot it down, but kind of be realistic with them, but like also find that passion. That's what I would say to the whole Iman Shumpert thing. Like, yeah, it's okay to like, yo, I want to do this, that, and the third, but is that your passion? Do you really love it? Okay, you do love it. I'm gonna push you to the max. Then.
Yeah, and it could get dicey because like your child may have a passion and you see it, or like your child may have a passion that they're like really into right now, but there's something. It's just like because you can also sense that there's something else that I know you're gonna be like a fucking rock star in. You know what I mean? Whether it be athletics, whether it be finances, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different avenues where you can see fit.
I'm trying to think of, I was actually just listening to this. Like I forgot who I was listening to, bro. But someone was talking about, he was like, yo, when I was growing up, man, like my dad and my uncle, they knew that like I was different, right? They knew that his passion was like, I think he said his passion was like art. Like he was into like anime and all this other shit. And he was like, yo, they knew I was different, but they put me in the situations to where like, because of the environment I was growing up in, that like to get me ready for niggas like always trying to doubt me and try to bully me because I was different, right? So it's like you around all these niggas that play basketball, they play football, and you got one nigga, he like, yo, but I like anime. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he was just talking about like how, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I love the Breakfast Club, bro. The Breakfast Club is really like a podcast, to be kind of.
Shout out to Breakfast Club. I've always been in tune with them from.
Malcolm Mays, yo. That's his name. Malcolm Mays. He plays on Raising Kanan. He's actually Kanan's uncle, and he also was in Snowfall. He's from Los Angeles, California. Y'all, if y'all just Google Malcolm Mays, when you see the face, you be like, okay. But basically, he was talking about, he's from South Central, LA, in the hood. And he was basically saying like growing up and shit, like his uncles and his dad knew that he was different in a way, like he had a different passion. This nigga wasn't a basketball player, no boxer, nothing. Like he liked the art, anime, and some other stuff. But they groomed him to be ready to prepare him for niggas downing him and niggas try to bully him. So he was like, yo, he always had to fight niggas. He always had to be ready to wrestle because that's just the lifestyle you came with, especially being from South Central LA. You know what I mean? Because either niggas is playing ball, niggas selling drugs, and niggas is gang banging. You know what I mean? So once again, bro, like it goes back to like, your parents or your village or whoever, like understanding who you are at a young age and grooming you. You know what I mean? Just like being there for you and like actually understanding, like, all right, yo, like, all right, you got a gift. All right, Brett, let's invest in this. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the biggest point, and like the best. I think that might be like one of the best points in my life as being a father, like actually seeing that and be like, yo, shorty, like you really can sew. Like, you know what I mean? Even though sewing is something different, but like, yo, you really like you pick sewing up that fast? Like, all right, yo, like let's see. Let's research and do that and type of shit and just understand like, yo, what can we do in the sewing industry? What's going on? And I learned that, huh?
I'm gonna bring you another point up, but yeah, go ahead.
I learned that from my ex's father. And God rest his soul, man. He had passed away like a month ago. But so she plays softball, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, yo, maybe, moms play softball or pops play baseball. They never did. They never played any sports. But when they found out that she was good at it, he invested in it. He became an umpire. He started doing this, that, and the third. They taught her how to pitch. And yo, as I started like, going traveling with them and going on other games, that's how it is for a lot of parents, bro. You know what I mean? Like parents really like, once they see you good at something and you passionate at it, like they really be like invested in it. Like I guarantee you, there's millions of parents that don't know how to play basketball, millions of parents that don't know how to play soccer. Like, yo, my mom, my dad, they don't know how to play basketball. My dad was a big Bulls fan, but like they don't know. But like, yo, when they see you like it, they invest in it, bro. They're there for you. That's the biggest thing. Go ahead, y'all.
I never forget, yo. It's funny you said that shit. I never forget, yo. My mom, like when I went to Glenelg Country, she turned into fucking Pat Summitt real fast. She ain't never played basketball a day in her life, bro. I used to get so mad. Now looking back at it, like I really appreciate that shit. Because you know what I mean? It shows that investment she put into me, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what my son likes. And also tails back to your boy, D Wade. And I know it's a completely different topic, but what I say that to say this, that when you don't know too much about whatever, I'm not gonna know because I'm not bringing up because of the whole thing with his daughter.
Nah, you definitely in the right. You in the right. You saying the right thing. You in the right room. I understand what you're saying.
Like, is when your child is invested into something you have no knowledge about, or is passionate about something you don't know nothing about. It's your job as a parent to put yourself in that world, to try to understand to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell Cassidy, I played baseball for one fucking season, but I can see her swing a bat right now. And I'm like, yo, you got it. You next. But like, I'm going to have to really dive into that. Same with Bo. I could want Bo to play basketball all day, but this motherfucker might want to play chess. He might be fucking Bobby Fischer. I don't know. But you know what, though? It's my job to try to help him propel himself to the other side. You know what I'm saying? To lift him, give him that motivation, that encouragement to be great. I think that's kind of like a challenge. I think that's a lot of places that some parents may not see.
Yeah, nah, you definitely right. The only thing I would say about the D Wade situation is, so we talking about things that you want to do in life. With that whole situation, it was a whole, like, I wanted to change my gender, right? I wanted to changing my sexuality. And the only thing that I have an issue with that is like, how does a kid know his sexuality that young, right? So I don't want to go into details about it because I could talk for days, but that's just a question that me and my buddy, like, we always talk about. Like, kid hasn't even hit puberty, right? So how do you know your sexuality? Like, because what makes you like a certain sex or this, that, and the third is when you get to a certain age of your life where you're aroused by it, right? You start to, like, you know, for women, you know, like, they'll tell you at a certain age, like, they started touching themselves, this, that, and the third, and then they realize, okay, like, I like this shit, this, that, and the third, and then, you know, obviously they see something and then they're aroused by it. The same thing for us when we're boys, we're younger, we get an erection when we see something. So for you to now try to just basically, I understand, I get that you're trying to understand your son or, you know, daughter, whoever, but they're not even at the point where they can understand their self truly. So, you know, that's the part where, like, I really be sitting down, yo, and I'd be like, yo, these niggas gotta put me in this shit right now, yo. They gotta put me on a motherfucking table right now, because that's the question I'm asking them. Because them niggas was not asking that, yo. Like, that's a real question. Like, bro, how you know that? And he not even, he ain't even hit his maturity level. He's his growth, I mean, his what did I say? Not maturity, but his not maturity. What's the drum where you start having sperm and all of that? Puberty. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't even hit puberty yet, yo. How do you
I don't think it was more so, without getting into too many details about this whole situation, because it is a dicey situation to be in.
Yeah, dicey.
You know, when no one will ever really understand it until everyone can see, like, oh, well, my children's gonna be a boy, just that. Like, you never know until you're in a situation. That I will say that. Also, what I will say is about the whole D-Wade situation on I Am Athlete. I think it was more so I don't think it was more so of a who that child was trying to be attracted to. It was more so that who that child felt inside. Now we can sit here and we can argue for 3, 4, 5 fucking hours about, well, how do you know how you feel inside? We can't speak on that because we don't know as me and you, I mean, we're obviously sitting there as men, you know what I'm saying? But for somebody who's young, like, there's been TV shows about this show for ages where kids are just hitting, like, around there, they're preteen, 10 years old, and they just that's just who they feel, that's who you feel you want to be, then that's who you want to be. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying it's not an arousal thing or a sexuality attraction thing. I think it's more so a gender identification of how that person feels. And then we're gonna leave it at that. You see what
I can agree with that.
I think it's not, I don't think, and I think that's what some people often overlook is that, like, if a child feels a certain way, how are you, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of tails back to what we was talking about. Like, if your child is passionate about who they are, how are you trying to hinder them? How are you benefiting them by sitting there saying, no, you're this, that, and a third? Or do you just go into the situation, you tread lightly because it's very new to you. You got to do a ton of research, which he did probably, you know, what he said he did. But if that's who they feel as they are right now, it may change later, but if that's who they feel right now, then I think as a parent, you are the parent, you know what I'm saying? I think you got to take the higher road and just, whether you disagree with it or not, I think you definitely should be more, you should definitely get into your child's world and invest in whatever they believe in at the time. You know what I mean? Because shit changes. Kids change like fucking seasons. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I proved your point, but what I'm saying, they could change, they may not change. You never know. But what I'm saying is that when in that situation, in that specific situation, like, it's more so who I identify myself as, not who am I attracted to. I think that's the piece that people are overlooking. They think it's a sexuality thing of, like, oh, okay, I'm 12 years old and I feel like a girl and I like boys. No, it's just I identify myself as a girl. I feel like I am a female. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I had to see how I did it.
That shit sounded dicey, boy.
But it's a tough situation. It's a really tough situation to be in. If that's who your child feels they are, then ride with them. I mean, you're not hurting nobody, bro. Only person they're gonna hurt is you if you feel hurt about it. That's how I look at it. But anyway, so back to this investing in your child when it comes to things that you're not knowledgeable about.
Yeah, that's, you just become knowledgeable, man. Like you really do. Like, so just trying to tell you, man, you go to some of these softball games, man, you're looking at niggas don't know not one thing about softball before they started playing, yo. They all in the game, bro. Like really, yo. And I think like, yo, that's like, it's so like basketball and football is different because like so many people were brought up on that. Like you just shoot, you put the ball in the basket. That's it. The first nigga to hit that touchdown, they get the point. Like it's simple. But yo, baseball, yo, it's like, bro, like I'm really trying to tell you, bro, that shit is a lot. It really is a lot. And I'm one of my mans, yo. Shout out to him, yo, Corey Britton, yo. Howard County Player of the Year. Got married a little while ago. Like, you could ask him, bro, like, that shit, like, really is like, I think baseball is harder than basketball, yo. I really do, bro. Like, niggas really don't know how much time they put in. That's why the motherfuckers be practicing from January to January, bro. Like, real talk. And correct me if I'm wrong. When you was at fucking AB, them niggas started practicing when y'all started practicing.
We had a 2,000 seat arena, and them niggas used to be up at the top, all the way in the basically the fucking attic, batting practice. It's 4 feet of snow outside.
Exactly, bro. Like that shit is really in. Like, bro, I really like just catching a ball, bro. Repetition and like throwing the ball. Like, for the longest while, yo. I kid you not, bro. I thought niggas, I don't even think I got the ball in here. I swear I thought niggas was throwing the ball like this, like just throwing it.
And you know the crazy part about baseball is, I know we're getting super off the top about this, but we could talk a little sports because we dads, but you know the crazy shit about, and another reason why baseball is harder than basketball, or could be harder than basketball, is that in basketball, it's a fast-paced game. It changes, but if you're up to a bat, you know it's like less than a half a second you have to make a decision to swing the bat or not.
Shit,
you know how fast that is? That's faster than you can fucking blink, bro. You gotta think like, oh shit, no. Like, how do you? I don't even know how to do that. But if Bo's like that shit, bro, I'm all for it, bro.
And we didn't even get to hitting though. We just talking about throwing. Like, I thought niggas was throwing the ball like all hand, all fingers, bro. Them niggas be throwing the ball like this and like this.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. That was my calling back in the day, bro.
Baseball?
Fuck yeah, bro. I used to be a nasty ass pitcher, bro. My big ass. I was already 6 foot at 13. So when it came to pitching, bro, I was with everything. But
it wasn't your passion.
Yeah. I don't think was it? I don't think it was my passion. I played one season. I played fall ball 1 year. First game, I'll never forget. 2 home runs back to back. I'll never forget that shit. I got the ball. My mom got the ball at the crib.
So let me ask you this, because this kind of goes back to like the whole situation with Malcolm X. Why do you think it wasn't your passion? Is it because niggas in your environment, like niggas wasn't really playing baseball? I don't even know a nigga that I grew up with that like played baseball or didn't play basketball or football. But one thing I can tell you is if I had a cousin, my man's, an uncle, or this, that, and the third that played baseball, that shit would have been different. You feel me?
I think that with me, I got exposed to baseball later on. So I think that it all starts at home, right? So like here, like as much as I want Bo to play basketball, I expose him to all types of sports. We got footballs, we got we got a T-ball set around this motherfucker. We got soccer balls floating around. Like I got a medicine ball if he wants to be a fucking deadlift, like a weightlift, like, you know what I'm saying? He's exposed to different things. So it's easy for me to like monitor and see what he gravitates toward more. Like now, he sat on my phone the other day. Well, I was scrolling, but he bought himself a basketball. That motherfucker came in today, bought that shit on Sunday, came in today, and he's been dribbling that bitch nonstop, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to dribble, like just trying to, and no one's teaching him that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not teaching him. He's 2 years old. I'm not gonna, oh, we need to be here too, but no, I'm not gonna do all that. He's been in this bitch trying to just bouncing on the floor, playing, like throwing the ball back and forth. I taught him how to say, he knows how to say shoot now. Like, it's like, it's kind of like part of your grooming, right? So like with me, with baseball, my dad played baseball when he was a kid. Played basketball in college. He used to always watch baseball, and he used to always tell me, like, listen, baseball is your calling, like this, that, and third. I never believed him, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go ahead and play. I had a homie that played baseball growing up. He played baseball and football. He played basketball, like little league basketball with us. He didn't like take it seriously, like travel and shit like that. So we started hanging out crazy. That was my homie. Shout out Josh. That was my homie all growing up. We used to play all types of sports. We used to play baseball in the backyard. So it's like, cool, I'm just going to try to play it. My first game ever, I'm like, yeah, this is it. Bruh. I put the bat down. I figured out, I was like, fuck it, basketball is the way to go. I had people in my ear talking about basketball, you're going to be this, that, and the third. Yeah, I stopped growing to fucking 6'5". I just, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, like the same thing Malcolm Mays was saying. Do you think, like, yo, if your mom and your dad like really instilled, like, yo, you know what, yo, like, this really it, bro. Like, it ain't no putting the bat down. Forget what these niggas are saying. Like, we gonna try this shit out for like, you know, for like a good couple of years, see how it go. And then from there, you know, if you're not really because it sounds like, yo, just niggas was in your ear because you were tall. You know what I mean? You were tall at a young age. But it's like, all right, yo, it's niggas in my ear. But then on the other end, it's like, yo, it's like, it's niggas, is like my family and them actually like pushing me to do this, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's niggas in my ear too that's telling me to play football. Like, I should have went into DeMatha, but that's not my passion. You know what I mean? Like, my passion was always basketball.
That's the key. I think that's the key that my parents did, was they didn't force anything. Like, you know, like, hey, like, they were always my biggest cheerleader no matter what I did. However, they never sat back and was like, okay, cool. Like, this motherfucker's nice at baseball. I know he likes to play basketball. Like, let's just do this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Kind of like your boy. You go back and forth about your boy Roland. Well, if you think it's forced or not, but it was not the gymnastics dude with his daughter. I mean, you got that big ass argument season one.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I think you could be good at this. Let's just keep going at it. It was more so of just, you don't want to play? Cool. I played football 1 year. Everyone's like, oh, you'll play football, you'll be tight in this, that, and third. But I was like, man, fuck this heat. Mom, I played 1 year, barely played. I was miserable. My mom didn't force it. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily played football. So I think not forcing it made it a lot easier on me to make my own decisions. And I think that's something we also lose sight too. Like, your kids, at a certain point, you gotta let your kids make a decision for themselves that is, what's the word I'm looking for? That is appropriate for their age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna let you make all types of decisions for yourself. Like, you 15, talking about coming home, this, that, and the third. But I will let you make decisions on, like, if you want to go hang out with friends or do this, that, and the third, if you want to play sports, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to make those decisions, you don't want to play it, I'm not going to force you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you this is how everyone needs to play a sport in my house. No.
That's actually a great topic, because I think I'm the opposite. Like, if we're gonna quit, we're gonna have a sit down about this situation, right? Especially if we're at a certain age.
If there's at a certain point, we want to have a sit down about it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have a conversation about if this is what you really want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you say we get through high school and you got offers on the table to go to college for free, now you're talking about, I don't want to do this anymore. We gotta have it.
Nah. Before that, right? Because it's the same situation we talked about. Like, yo, like, now, like, it's okay to like give up on things, right? And that's like, to me, that's And like we said, everyone's different. Like to me now we got to have a sit down at a young age, right? And like I guess we would have to check the temperature at what age that really could be. Obviously, not an age where they're like 4 or 5, but to an age where they kind of understand, where they're just like, yo, this is just too hard, Dad. Okay, now we need to have a conversation, because
that's how we're talking about, though. We're talking about if they're like it being too hard. I feel like it differs from someone being passionate or something, right? Because you can try something out for the first time. You try something out for the first time, or not even the first time. Say you try a new sport out for the first couple of months. You like, nah, I thought I like this. It's just hard. You know what I'm saying? That's different than if you were passionate into something and you're.
I know we're talking about the passionate, no, but I'm just talking about the whole situation about like, yo, all right, yo, my parents are not pushing me, or not putting the pressure on me to do things, right? So like, if I don't want to do something, I don't want to do it. That's okay. For me, I'm going to be different on my kids. You know what I mean? Because if we decide to do something, right, and I see some type of, especially if I see some type of like, some type of, damn, I'm losing track of the fucking potential. Especially if I see some potential, right? Me and wifey like, hold on. Like, shorty, yo, she not the best on the team, yo, but right. And then it's on a point where it's just like, yo, Dad, it's too hard. All right, hold on. We gotta have a conversation, right? Because we can't go through life just doing that, right? And
yes, I agree. Right? I agree.
Because because it's like that for and it's like that for multiple kids. You could probably go to niggas' jobs and they'll tell you, little Billy, he played baseball this, that, and the third. You ask them why, they're like, yo, he just didn't want to do it anymore. And now, like, that's my whole thing. Like, yo, if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it, but like, we gotta have a legitimate reason for why we're not doing it, especially if you have some potential in it, right? Because if you're just gonna quit just because it's hard, that's a no-go, right? Because if that's the case, then we gotta sit down, we're gonna have a talk, and we're gonna say like, yo, when we do something in this house, like, we gonna stick by it. You know what I mean?
I don't want you to, you're divvying away from when they're passionate about something. I agree with you. I agree to disagree with you in the sense that, like, we spent this whole episode, right? We're talking about passion, right? And if it came down to your child being passionate in something and quitting, I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with you. Now, if I can just, it's also, and this is where I kind of disagree with you, is that if me looking at it, if I sit here, what I want to do is make sure we find, and like you said in the beginning of the episode, we want to find something that you're passionate in. You know what I mean? But if I know that if I can see you, and if I see the potential in you, it's like, it does me no good, because you got to see the potential in yourself, right? I can only talk to you so much. So I can't really, because then if I get to a point where it's like I'm pushing you and to offer the potential I see that you don't see, you're going to be turned off by it. It's just so like
now you're taking it to a max, though, right? Because I knew you were gonna. I knew that's the typical thing that everyone says, and that's the typical thing that I say about the whole situation where we're pushing our kids. But my thing is like, they're quitting because it's too hard, right? But and they don't really, they might not have the passion for it, but when people become good at something, they actually like it, right? But they don't know that until they become good at it, right? So that's my whole thing, because I'm going off of what you said about you just saying like, yo, I played football, it was too hot, this, that, and the third, boom, I'm done with it. But if I'm a parent, I'm like, all right, hold on. Are we quitting because it's too hot? Because we're not about to do that up in the house. You know what I mean? We're going to quit because like, either like, you know, like, it can't be because it's hot or you working too hard.
I genuinely didn't know. It wasn't. No, yeah.
No, I'm not going off of you. I'm just saying in general. It has to be a legitimate excuse for me
for you to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like if you're just gonna sit there and bullshit me, and I know you're good at it, I can see you actually being legit, and you just sitting there telling me you're not good at it because you didn't give it enough time to develop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like for example, like the whole dribbling shit, right? You get to a point where you and Bo have conversations, y'all dribbling. He like, yo, dad, this shit too hard. But you already know, like dribbling, working out, that shit it's hard in general. Like that shit takes a work. But you see some potential, and he's just like, yo, like, all right, yo, like, I'm kind of done with that. It's like, all right, yo, like, we need to have a conversation, right? Because if you're gonna do something in life, son or daughter, like it's either, you know, we're gonna go to the max or we're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? We gotta at least put.
So what if they say they're not going to the max and they don't want to do it?
That's cool. That's cool. But we gotta put some we gotta put some type of work in it for us to be like, yo, like we're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna
about two different time frames then, because it seems the situation that you're talking about is that they've been in this position for a minute, right?
No.
What I'm saying, not a minute, like years. What I'm saying, like they've pushed past the point of testing it out, for lack of better terms, right? So like,
correct.
You like when we go, like when I go golfing, right? I fucking suck, still suck to this day, but I can tell you I was better than I was before. I hated those days that I played like shit, but I just, you know what I mean? Now, like pushing myself through it and understanding I could really get a feel for this. You're talking about what part of the, like what time frame are you talking about? Are you talking about in the beginning, like the first like 6 months, and they just like, they're like, you know what, this shit just not, it's just not clicking for me? Or are you talking about that after that first season you see the potential? And
I'm saying
you can still see the potential in both situations, right? As a parent, you have to be able to quickly identify it, but like how do you gauge when to be like, all right, it's okay to throw in a towel because you're freshly new at it, versus saying, I see you, we went through this whole season, I see you have potential, I think you've done a fantastic job. You know what I mean?
If I see potential, we got to at least do 2 seasons, right? Because that'll really give me the determination to be like, all right, yo, like, all right, we had that conversation where like, all right, yo, season 1, you're just getting new to it. This, that, and the third. Off season, we work on it. You put the work in. Now, if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Because the second season is really going to determine to where like either you start to be productive and you like, yo,
what's up?
What's up? You know what I mean? But after the first season of the first couple of games, you telling me like, nah, like it's like, I guarantee you, yo. And that Serena Williams, I don't even know, but I guarantee you there was a moment where they're like, yo, this, like, I ain't doing this, right? And their dad, I guarantee you that nigga's like, nah, yo, like, y'all good. Y'all good. I see that shit in y'all. You know what I mean?
So when it comes to something new, do you have those check-in conversations to see how everything's going? Or do you
Yeah. Of course, if you just me being an athlete, I know how mentally it can down you just one bad game.
If it's not being an athlete, say if it's just being something else, say they want to try something new out, say they want to go through, they want to do acting, they want to be an actor, and they just want to go through a semester acting, you know what I'm saying? Do you have those check-in conversations of like, you dial yourself back a little bit because you see the potential, you're invested in them. They don't know what they could be yet, but you know what I mean?
So in those situations, I can't see the potential, yo. Maybe for the acting, or the modeling or something like that, maybe I could see it. But like if we're doing, you know, coding or I don't know, some type of I don't know, something else, I really can't. I would have to do my research, or I would have to link with somebody.
Well, then that goes back to my question. How can you sit here and have that sit down with your child about something they wanted to try, and you have no knowledge about it in order like to say, you know what, because obviously you're not going to get that knowledge about coding or whatever. Say if it's non-athletic related, right? Say if it's like they want to be, like I said, they want to be a mayor, or they want to do some shit. You know what I mean? You can see the potential in them. but also you still got to do your research, right? So how do you balance that? Maybe they're like go with people, or you know what I mean? They know how to govern the people at the time, like at a certain, you know what I mean, little shit like that. You see those little things that you know about. How can you sit here and have a sit down conversation with your child who's like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think someone for those situations, because I was strictly speaking off of like sports or something like that. In those situations, someone would have to be in my ear and be like, yo, she could do something.
What if they're not? I mean? There's sometimes we don't have it, but that's the perfect world. What about the situations where you don't have somebody here and you really like, you talk to people and you know what I mean, but you know your child the best. So you know the
I'm saying I can't really speak off that. I can't speak off that too much. All I can say is it would something have to be like a natural feel, like the whole situation with Michael B. Jordan, like niggas 10 years old. Shorty looks at him, tells his mom, like, yo, y'all should do like acting. 2 weeks later, they start doing the acting, shit. We in 2021, bitches is drooling over this nigga.
What if it came to a point? What if he was in a situation? Because I know that I'm not gonna dive into his upbringing, but what if there's a situation? What if there was a situation where he was just like after the first like couple classes, first acting shit, and he was just like, nah, I'm not. Even though everyone sees it around him, like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. So now you're putting your energy in your child, having that conversation, then you put them back out there just for them to be even more embarrassed because they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's typical, but I think you as a parent though, like you gotta at least like give them the effort to second try, because, and I'm not saying I know the whole story, but I guarantee you there's children's out there, parents out there that don't know anything about whatever they want to do or whatever they think their kid wants to do, and they put them in it. And that kid says like, yo, I don't want to do this. And they're like, nah, like we got to keep doing it. Like, just like, give it another try. And they're successful at it. You know what I mean? Like, and then we had a typical story of you trying something new or they doing something new. And then they're like, yo, I don't want to do it. And, people are just like, all right, cool. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. That's a typical, but me and you, I'm pretty sure we know there's stories out there of people doing stuff that their kids would want to do, or they put them into it. They have no clue of it. They say like, yo, like, mom, dad, I'm not really feeling this. But they're like, nah, like, give it another try. Like, just check that shit out. They do it again. Shit take off from here.
So the way, the perception I was given, I guess I did a shitty job of trying to get deeper to the root of what you're saying, right? Because it seems like what you're saying is that we're not quitting. We're going to at least give it another try before we quit, right?
Yeah, man, we got.
I have to, bro. This is for the this whole conversation is for the listeners' purposes only, because some people may take it as like, yo, I'd hate to be Shane's kid. Fucking, we're gonna be. Listen, you say you want to be something, your ass is gonna do it. You know what I mean? I gotta paint that picture for people so they can see and listen, hear and understand.
But this is another thing too, though. Right now, I'm building structure, right? So when we do get to a point, you know what I mean? There's kids out there, and like I said before, man, we're all gonna understand the situation because we bumped into people like this. There's people out there like, yo, I ain't a quitter, right?
Yeah.
And they're not a quitter because they're not a quitter. They're a quitter because they were brought up a certain way, right? And then there's kids out there too that it's like, yo, like, I ain't giving up, bro. It's niggas in medical school. There's niggas at doctors, lawyers. Niggas, they on their last dime, on their last test. They just failed the bar. But yo, it's ingrained in them like, yo, you ain't a quitter, bro. You gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep doing this shit, bro. You gonna get it. You gonna get it, yo. We gonna get this shit.
About it, yeah.
Yeah, we gonna get it, bro. We gonna make this shit happen, bro. We don't give up. Niggas back home, we need you. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you got this shit, B. You got it, yo.
That's the motivation situation. What about the homie that he's just doing this because his dad said his dad won't get him out, and he's just stuck in the middle of this shit. Now his ass just in. See, you see what I'm saying? It could go either way, and I think that's where oftentimes it goes more so. I fucking sound like you. This is stupid. I hate this shit. Anyway, it goes back to kind of like what you were saying before. I guess in episode 19, I should just say I agree to disagree. I was fully on the disagrees with you about the whole shit. But it goes back to, oh well, my dad wants me to do this. He's not letting me quit, so I got to keep doing it. I say I got to go play tennis. I don't want to play tennis. He says he sees the potential in me, but I don't really see the shit. I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It goes back to that whole it. You see what I'm saying?
No,
it's difficult.
I see that too, but like, all right, yo, like, so for me, man, like I feel like we just saying the typical. We saying the typical stuff because that's what everyone sees, right? But like, yo, that conversation that I'm having with my kids is the biggest motivation, right? So I'm having that conversation like, yo, like Nova, like, all right, yo, like, listen, I know you're not feeling the tennis, but yo, like, I see you out here killing these hoes in the next year. So like, you know what I mean? We're not saying like, yo, like my communication skills, my speaking, like that shit is Obama level. I'm giving niggas that shit. Like, yo, I really see you out here. Don't tell your mom, but I see you out here beating these bitches up, yo. Right? So this is the deal. Holla at me. We're gonna chest it out one more year. We're gonna do the training, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? And we're gonna give it one more year. And if you don't like it, then we're gonna move on. But if you start kicking these bitches' asses, we're gonna have to take this shit to the top. You right here, man. We in the Olympics.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, yeah, motivation will speak my ass. So Nova goes, no, this is it. I don't want to do it anymore.
You know, you grounded.
So exactly. This is exactly where I was headed right here. Yep. And this is prime example that because some kids feel they need to do shit because their parents say that they, regardless of the structure that they live in, right? You raise your child to not be a quitter, and you know what I mean, keep pushing forward. Which kind of like you both said the same fucking thing. It's like now you're telling your child, okay, you get your child, listen, I see you out here doing your thing. Like you're giving them you're giving them all the positives to keep them going, right? You're trying to downplay those negatives to the point where it's just like them shits don't even matter. To you, they may not matter, but to your child, they say no. They still say, all right, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but no, I don't want to do this anymore. All right, and then not more so that harsh, but like they're like, nah, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather do something else. I'd rather do this. Maybe I'll revisit this later. I want to do this.
All right, I can understand the whole later joint. I ain't hear that. We can test it back later, but
if they don't say it, but that what if they don't say that? You know what I mean? Like children, they bro, Bo was with one thing 1 minute, and the next minute he's not. You know, kids.
We can't compare them at this age. We
can't compare them at this age. But what I'm saying is that children are seasonal. So it's like I feel like children are seasonal.
No, they're seasonal now. When they get to a level where they're actually doing something that they like, or they're at a level where they're like 9 or 8 or whatever, they ain't seasonal no more. These kids are they toddlers now. They seasonal. They don't know what's going on.
Well, that's crazy. They still don't know what's going on at 9 years old, bro. Come on, dog.
What?
Bro, they have a sense. They have a better sense of shit. They have a better sense of what's going on, but like, bro, they don't.
I'm trying to tell you.
Back to the whole D-Way situation. You telling your son he doesn't really know truly what he is.
Yeah.
So is that not being seasonal?
No, that's a whole different situation. I can't even really talk on that. But the whole seasonal thing with our kids is like 1 minute they don't want to go to sleep. 1 minute they do. 1 minute they like to play basketball. 1 minute they don't. 1 minute they like to look at the YouTube. 1 minute they don't. Like that's seasonal. But like, yo, the kids they're gonna grow past that, right? They're not even gonna worry about like toys and basketball.
But what do you say? So what do you say to a child who, for instance, like me, who's 14, everyone sees the potential in me, and apparently I was doing good. I just didn't like it. That's not being
yo. To be honest, like all them people out there, I don't know what the fuck they saying, but we doing another year of this. We gonna rock it out. I'm gonna give you that motivation.
So that means therefore they may not be seasonal to one thing like this, one thing like no, but they may try something they may not just like, and they may want to revert back to something else. They change like the weather. They want to do something. You know what I mean? Like I was like that. I always tried different things up until the point where basketball, when I felt basketball became serious. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got
like I said, I can't relate to that because like I told you early in the beginning, I've never done anything that I'm not passionate about. Right. So I never really, even though I thought I was like, yo, I want to do baseball, but I'm like, yo, do I really want to do that shit? Like, I don't really know anything that I did. And then I was just like, yo, like, I ain't about to do it. Like, I can't speak on it. Like, how
can you speak to a child that may not turn out to be as may not have that mindset of like, as much as you could try to, I guess you could argue it that way too.
Yeah, because they're like, so this is the thing about it. So the kids are not gonna have that. Like everyone's not gonna have that. It is something that is brought up in you, or you're just passionate about it because you see your parents do it, or you see your uncle do it, or this, that, and the third. But majority of the time, like a lot of kids, they might not be passionate about something until they like really like get in the groove of something, or like their parents like motivate them. You know what I mean? Like it, I think that's just the nature of life, yo. Like we as parents, we really gotta like give them like that motivation, that confidence, like to really be like, all right, yo, you know what? I could do this shit. Like Pop said I could do this shit. I can really do this shit, man. You know what I mean? No?
I mean, yeah. I like, yo, I feel like the situations you're given are like, I feel like they're picture perfect. Cause in the sense that like, you're right. It's about your upbringing, right? It's about, you know what I'm saying? You raising your child to be passionate, to try to have the drive to be like to have the drive. We can say have the drive, right? Because that's similar to being passionate to you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Have the drive to, right?
Yeah.
My mom, my perfect situation. My mom always growing up, you got to do this to be you drive, passion, not quitting. But here comes my ass just doing enough to get by. You know what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with my structure. It just had to deal with who I was as a person. And she'll tell you to this day, I didn't start seeing that drive in myself until I had kids. Or matter of fact, before that, even like when I moved out of the crib and I saw that I really had to like survive on my own, is when I start seeing that. But growing up, we're not talking about that age though. We're talking about the age of like middle
school basically, and the elementary school kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've always done it. At that point in time, I always did enough just to get by. You know what I mean? So it not necessarily, I don't think it has nothing to do with your upbringing. It just has to do so much more with your child. And so when it comes to me doing enough just to get by, it's like if I went and played a sport and I didn't like it, you know what I mean? And it's not that I'm quitting because I don't find this fun. You know what I mean?
So that's actually, it could be a great analogy, which is true. But let me ask you this: if you see a kid that's rude and does disrespectful things, what do you think goes on in that household?
There's rude and disrespectful shit. But what I'm saying,
if you think a kid is messy and they do a bunch of messy shit at home, what do you think is going on in their household?
They have a messy household. Like I said, I came from a household that was structured and was all about being passionate and having shit.
I agree with you. I agree. There's
different situations though. I'm saying that because not every situation is not sometimes it's just not reflective of how that parent is raising their child. It could just be who that child is. So are you going to punish your child by putting through another season of some shit that they don't want to do? No.
I don't see it as punishment though, bro.
They're going to feel as though it's like punishment though.
I'm building them up for that, man. I'll see it if they don't like it or not.
But what their opinion is not good enough.
Not at that age, man.
Okay.
We're different parents, yo. You have a way of raising your kids, and I have a way of how I'm going to raise my kids.
Yo, and you know what? I'm the first person in the whole fucking world to say GQ is doing a fan-fucking-tastic job raising his daughter.
No, but hold on. But it's not about so hold on. It's not about the fan perfect job. It's the fact that like, okay, like you have your way of doing it and I have my way of doing it. It might not be great, but it's not like, all right, yo, like the kids is gonna be mad. You don't know that. You putting your head back, it's like, yo, like they gonna be mad, or you're gonna pull them through another terrible season. It's like, okay, that might be something that you believe might happen, but that might not be something that goes on for my kids and the way that I raise them. It could be a theory, but you can't be frustrated because someone has a certain way that they want to raise.
I'm by all means not being frustrated. I'm just trying to, I don't want you to see it. What I'm trying to do with this conversation specifically is to get you, not only you, but everyone else who listens to this podcast to understand that it's okay. I lost my whole fucking train of thought. Son of a bitch. That there's also that's what I'm saying. That to not look so much more of it in a narrow sight view, right? Like there's endless possible situations. I named about almost 3 or 4 different situations throughout this episode that could happen to any parent. Yeah. 2 + 2 still equals 4. 3 + 1 still equals fucking 4, right? Whatever it is, you still get the same outcome. But like I'm just trying to raise awareness that not some people. I feel like some parents could really feel like they let themselves down and they let their child down if their child turns out to be something that they might be. That turns out their child might not be as passionate about something they thought they were as the parent is. You know what I mean? Like the parent sees the potential in the child as being passionate. I mean, the parent sees the potential in the child doesn't see their potential. They thought they were passionate. They don't want to do it. But the parent still sees the potential. And sometimes the kids just don't want to do it.
So my whole thing is I understand what you're saying, but my whole thing is instilling like, yo, we're not giving up on things, right? That's my whole thing, right? So like I said, if you want to give up, you can give up, but let's give it another chance, especially if you have potential, right? So that's how I started off with everything. If the kid has potential and I see it, all right, yo, like we can give this a second chance, because a lot of kids are going to give up because certain things do not go their way, right? Kids might laugh at them in practice. Things might not go right. You might not be on the right team, this, that, and the third. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, yo, let's give it another chance, right? Let's push you to another chance. Now, I know what you're saying, like, yo, you might be pushing them through a season they don't want to do. Okay, that's your theory, and that might happen for a lot of kids. But like I said before, I'm going to build them up, and that's what I'm going to do throughout their life. Affirmation throughout every day that I talk to them.
That's the key. That's the key.
Right? I'm going to build them up. And I said this multiple times throughout the podcast. I will build them up so that they don't feel that way. I'm not dragging them. It's all right, yo, you know what? I can do this. But I felt like you were going back to, okay, but what about the kids that are like, all right, yo, I don't want to do this, but my dad wants me to do it. I can't speak on those kids, because what I'm saying is the way I'm going to upbring my children is they're going to come to a point where it's going to be like, all right, yo, like I didn't do this because I didn't want to do this. And I had the conversation with my dad, and I'm where I'm at. But I'm never going to put them in a position, especially later in life, where they're like, yo, I'm being a doctor because I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor because I want to be a doctor for myself, not because my dad wanted me to do it. And I want to do it because, yo, he ingrained in me like, yo, I can be whatever I want to be. Yes, it was hard the first couple of years, but I didn't give up, because there was many lessons that he gave me, and he preached to me like, yo, you can do it. It's going to be tough, but you can push through that shit. You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing. Like, and that's why I said, like, the first time we do something, like, all right, yo, like, and I see some potential, don't quit, yo. Just keep pushing yourself, because that's going to be a learned lesson later down the line.
And that's what I was trying. And the reason why I'm being so much more on the devil's advocate side of things. I mean, I agree. Like I said, I agree with you. You know what I mean? If I can see that the potential of my child, I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to give them that. The key word that you said is affirmation, building them up, encouragement, right? That's the
Always.
whole shit. And I think that some parents, they may throw in the towel, they may not, but I also wanted to just bring it's okay for those other situations to happen. You know what I mean? And that's
there's gonna be different. Yeah, you're definitely right. There's gonna be
that's
different.
what I wanted. That's the main reason why I was asking all those difficult questions. Like, okay, cool. Like, I was pushing you to say, like, yo, all right, you were talking like one instance when you were talking about structure. Cool, we talking about structure, but when it comes down to, I came from one of the most structured households in America. My mother did 22 years in the Air Force, and she tried to instill that drive in me by example, affirmation and all that shit. I just didn't have the need to want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's those type of things out there too.
I'm gonna circle back to you, right? So you talked about a kid that got to a point where he was like, yo, I don't want to do this because, you know, my dad wanted me to do it and I didn't do it, right? So from that point on, you know, he doesn't have that drive in him. He probably didn't have the affirmation. And it's a great example because we circle back to you, even though you had the structure, right? But because you said like you quit this, then the third, that structure's still into you because you know what? You said, yo, when certain things happen in life, you was like, yo, I got to do this shit. I got that in me. Like, all right, yo, I'm living on my own. All right, what I got watch. All right, bet. I got to do this, then the third. Kids came along. You was like, you know what? I can do this shit. I could do this shit, bro. Let me talk to moms. I heard a little couple of shit from moms, but you know what? I could do this shit. It's still ingrained in you from a young age, even though certain shit misplaced throughout the life, then you didn't do this, then the third, but deep down inside, that shit ingrained in you, bro. You got it. You did it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, no matter what, niggas is gonna be like, all right, yo, Pops told me I could do it. I got this shit. Like, I ain't gonna give up. I'm gonna keep doing it, man. And that's really it. Just affirmation, telling the kids they can do it at a young age, pushing them a little bit more than they should be pushed.
Dog, we're gonna end it like that. Episode 3, you heard it here. GQ, words of affirmation for y'all. Well, when y'all listen to this shit, make sure you listen to the last 10 minutes of this shit every day before you go to work. You can be anybody you want to be. You can do whatever the fuck you want to. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Diaper Dads Podcast. Catch us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and the Instagram, diaper.dads, DIAPER.DADS. We will see you guys next week for episode 4. We out.
Peace.